It's Friday, and we've made it to the end of the week. Stay tuned for today's Ag AM in Kansas, featuring these great stories.
Today in our Horsing Around segment, Dr. Chris Blevins discusses vaccinations for horses. Learn why it's important to vaccinate your horse annually, what core vaccines to administer and when, and how to manage vaccines for foals and pregnant mares. Then we catch up with a couple of owners of Norwood Sawmills, a North American product used by a great many farmers and ranchers to economically supply their own lumber for use on their property. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, dressing Northeast Kansas their Western best for almost 60 years.
Hello and welcome to Horsing Around. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins here at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. Today, I think a great topic being in the spring is going to be, what do we need to vaccinate our horses with? What do we need to vaccinate our foals with, and when do we need to vaccinate those foals? I think we'll hit all those topics here today, and one of the first questions is, why do we vaccinate horses, and why do we do it every year, and is it really that big of a deal if we skip a year? We don't hear of these diseases around Kansas, so why should we vaccinate for it? And all those are good points, and something that I think we always need to keep in mind is we don't see those vaccines around here because of the immunity of the horse, and so that's why we still need to vaccinate horses annually for certain diseases. Now, if you go to, there's a website that gives information for clients, and that is the AAEP.org, and they have charts on how to vaccinate, and that's usually kind of the recommendations that we use. Or you could even go to our websites and look at www.vet.ksu.edu and go to the Veterinary Health Center Equine and find recommendations for vaccines there. So there's a lot of information you can get on your own and do some more investigating, and to ask your veterinarian on what vaccines to use. Now, when you talk about those vaccines that are needed for every horse every year here in Kansas and in the United States, there's core vaccines. And what are those core vaccines that every horse should get? That would be sleeping sickness, so Eastern and Western equine encephalomyelitis. That disease causes neurologic signs in the horse, potentially can kill the horse, depending on which one it would be, and is very easy to prevent based on the vaccines that we have. So vaccines for sleeping sickness, Eastern and Western, are core. The other one would be tetanus. So every horse should be vaccinated for tetanus. If they get a wound or a scratch, they could cause a problem, and they could die from tetanus itself too. So very easy to prevent it with vaccines every year. The other one that we also kind of correlates with that of mosquitoes, just like Eastern and Western equine encephalomyelitis, is West Nile. So whenever you look at West Nile itself, that vaccine, there's multiple different ones to use, and you should consult your veterinarian on which vaccine can be used for that to prevent the disease. But we do a real good job at preventing that with the vaccines used annually, especially here in Kansas. If a mosquito season is fairly long, we go ahead and rebooster in the fall. So those things just kind of keep in mind about those type of core vaccines. The other one is rabies. So with rabies vaccines, we don't hear that horses get rabies that often, but that is incorrect. Horses can get rabies, and we do get rabies positive horses here at the vet school, not frequently, but periodically. So it's very easy to prevent it with vaccinations every year. So there you have it. There's your core vaccines that we use for horses, no matter what age they are, whether a foal or an adult horse, young or old. Those are all just kind of, again, every horse should get those vaccines. That's Eastern and Western equine encephalomyelitis, tetanus, West Nile, and rabies. When we come back, we'll talk about foals, when to vaccinate them, when to vaccinate the mare when she's pregnant. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins for Horsing Around, and we'll be right back.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas, or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel, or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
This segment brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Hello and welcome back to Horsing Around. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins here at Kansas State Veterinary Health Center, and again we're going to continue on that topic of vaccinations and vaccines for your horse. Before break there we were talking about those core vaccines that every horse should get, and then the other thing is, when should I vaccinate our horses? And usually, again, a lot of those are going to be in the spring prior to the insult of potentially the horse getting the disease. So that's why we vaccinate our horses, you know, in the March, April time frame here around Kansas. So we're before the mosquito season, so they have immunity, hopefully, to some of those diseases that they're going to be exposed to. One of the things, too, also that I always get questions about is, as far as foals, when should we vaccinate our little foals once they, you know, are either weaned or off from the mare? And that happens at 4 to 6 months of age, generally, when we start vaccinating those little guys. So when you wean them, that's when we should actually start their first round of vaccines. Sometimes that might be even in the fall, just kind of get them started, and then it won't hurt to go ahead and get them with the spring regiment with everybody else the following spring. Don't ever forget too, if a horse, it's the first time you've ever given the vaccine to either adult horse or the foal for sure, that you always booster that first vaccine in 3 to 4 weeks. If you only give that foal one vaccine every year and they never were boosted that first time they saw that vaccine itself, you're actually wasting your money because the immunity of that foal isn't going to be where we need it to be. So making sure that you booster in 3 to 4 weeks when you give that first vaccine, especially to those foals, is very important. And again, most of that regimen you can also discuss with your veterinarian to figure out the logistics of making sure it's all done correctly. Because again, you don't want to waste your money, and you want to make sure you protect your foal from diseases. As far as for mares, when they're pregnant, when should we vaccinate our pregnant mare? How do we need to make sure we protect that little foal when it is born? That foal is protected based on the colostrum, or the foal's first milkings. Whenever the foal nurses from that mare, it is the protection or immunity that's transferred over. So to make sure that that foal is protected from different diseases, we should vaccinate our mares 30 days prior to foaling. So around 10 months of gestation, we should go ahead and booster all those vaccines on that mare before she foals. There are vaccines that are safe for pregnancy, and then there are some vaccines that are not safe for pregnancy. So make sure that you consult with your veterinarian before you give those vaccines for that mare that is still pregnant. So those are some things that, again, just to kind of keep in mind about your mare and about your foals, and then everybody else, it's going to be in the spring. Don't also forget, if you got a horse that's going to a lot of shows, protect them from respiratory vaccines, rhino and flu, and that can be added into the combination, and usually it's boosted in the fall also. Again, if you have any questions or concerns about vaccines, don't hesitate to call your veterinarian and discuss the vaccine protocol for your horses and your special history or based on what's going on with your horse with your veterinarian. And again, if you have any other questions, call us here at the vet school and we should be able to help you with that. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins here at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center, and this is Horsing Around. We'll see you around.
Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
We've been using the Multimen on our donor cows, and after we started using it on them, we've seen a definite increase in grade number 1 embryos. I like the results that I get using Multimen with the AI conception rate.
Their minerals not up to snuff, you're going to have problems, and I definitely think Multimen is good for, general healthiness of the cattle.
We think Multimen more than pays for itself.
Get ready for the Kicker Country Stampede presented by Verizon Wireless, starring Jason Aldean, Trace Atkins. 4 days of camping and country music at Country Stampede, Little Big Town. The Pistolantes featuring Ashley Monroe, Miranda Lambert, and Angelina Presley. Country Stampede. Take advantage of our current pricing. Advanced pricing for a 4-day ticket is $135. Prices go up June 26. More info at countrystampede.com.
Purple Wave is a proud supporter of the Kansas FFA through the Bid for Blue program. Purple Wave donates a portion of the proceeds earned on certain ag assets to the Kansas FFA. Winning bidders can designate a Kansas chapter to receive the donation. To date, Purple Wave is proud to have donated over $10,000. Visit purplewave.com to learn more and to place bids on Bid for Blue assets. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Roy Fry Western Lifestyles brings the cowboy or cowgirl out in all of us. With a huge selection of must-have items, it doesn't matter if you're shopping for your horse, picking up some Western accessories to add that rustic charm to your home, or simply treating yourself. The knowledge and expertise to dress you your Western best is right here at Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, Highway 24 and Kansas Avenue in Topeka.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment is brought to you by Tarwater Farm and Home. Come on by, we'll treat you like family.
Well, my name's Dave Boyd, and I do public relations work with Norwood Sawmills. I also run a Norwood Sawmill at home in my spare time for fun and profit. And it's been an interesting experience. I've worked around sawmills for the last 12 years, so had a little bit of a background in them. The Norwood sawmills are built in Canada and the United States, kind of a joint effort, so all of the parts come from North America. And a lot of use typically on farm and ranch operations. We're here at Brad Hubin's place near Pomona, Kansas, where he uses the sawmill to mill lumber for his own purposes and to supplement his income somewhat. And that's a pretty common thing for people to do with the sawmills. If there's slack time when you've got when you don't have other things going on, it's a good way to make a little extra income with a fairly low initial investment. And as far as operation goes, probably you've already got a chainsaw, tractor, loader, that type of equipment, so we just add the sawmill, and that pretty much gives you the capability of sawing up your own lumber. So some goes for sale, a lot of it goes for barn siding, trailer decking, that type of thing. And people have built their homes with lumber that they've cut on sawmills as well. So it can serve a lot of purposes. One of the advantages of this type of a sawmill is that they're very portable. The one that we're looking at here is set up more as a stationary machine, but they're also available with towing packages with the axles and the tongue and so forth. So it's a pretty simple matter to just hook it up to a pickup truck or a tractor and move it out to the site where it needs to be. I do see a lot of farmers and ranchers that are using the portable sawmills to mill up their own lumber. If they do some clearing, if they've had blow down, or if they've got a wood lot, maybe for firewood, that type of thing, but some of the wood is good enough quality that it's worth more as the lumber, then that's where the sawmill really makes sense, and they pay for themselves in a fairly short period of time. And even without the resource on your own property, a lot of people will either buy lumber or log on nearby property, get wood from tree services, that type of thing, and stay supplied that way. So a lot of resources, a lot of possible ways of getting the lumber.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Golf Week calls it the best course you can play in Kansas. But once you play, you'll want to stay. Go for it. Firekeeper Golf Course at Prairie Band Casino and Resort is just north of Topeka off Highway 75. Our stay and play package is worth the trip. Luxury hotel room, green fees, and golf cart for two, starting at just $169.
Prairie Band Casino and Resort. Go for it.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
If you don't have a garden, you can still enjoy fresh vegetables by growing them in containers. Let Jackson's help you select the correct plants for your pots. Use Fertilome's Ultimate Potting Mix. Place pots in the sun and feed them weekly with Fertilome's water-soluble fertilizer. Water thoroughly when dry and watch your garden grow.
Jackson's grows over 50 varieties of tomato plants and 75 kinds of pepper plants. We'll help you choose the best variety.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
This segment is brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Stop by or visit us at sftmeats.com.
My name's Brad Hubin, and I have purchased a Norwood a year and a half ago, and I've been cutting for probably about a year. And I guess what got me started in the wood, I took woodworking in high school and really enjoyed it. Made a bunch of projects, and I've always kind of kept my hand in doing woodworking, and I guess kind of got frustrated with always wanting to get wood, and it was so expensive, it was hard to find. Seems like you had to go 2 or 3 different places to find the wood you needed. So I've always thought that it'd be nice to have be able to get my own wood, and there's, you know, wood around here. You just have to know how to get it and where to get it. And I guess I kind of got started thinking about a saw. My brother lived in Washington State, and I'd go up and spend the summers with him, and he was always wanting to do a log house, and so we went to a log home show in Seattle, and they had a big sawmill there, and we spent a couple hours watching the person run the sawmill, and I always had that in the back of my mind that that would be something nice to have and cut my own wood. And I've kind of kept my eye out for getting one for quite a while, and we moved to the country a couple years ago and thought that it'd be a good time to keep looking, and I actually saw the Norwood, and I guess what attracted me the most to it was how inexpensive it was. It was like $4,000 to get the sawmill, and they send it to you all broken down, and you basically put it together and they give you a guide to do all that. And I really liked that because although it took a long time to do and I'm not real mechanically inclined, it really showed me what all I needed to know about the machine. And now if I have something that breaks, I can kind of figure out what to do and how to fix it. So that's been kind of good. I've enjoyed running it. I've cut quite a bit of walnut and oak and some cherry, and I started to get quite a bit, and thought that maybe it'd be good to sell some, kind of help the people, you know, that needed to get some inexpensive wood, and maybe some wood cut to different sizes that, like, I always looked for when I wanted some, and thought that maybe I'd go ahead and list it, and I decided Craigslist was maybe the best way. And I've had people come down from like Kansas City and buy some wood, and actually a guy came through from Vail, Colorado, buys walnut in Missouri, and found my listing and stopped by and bought quite a bit of lumber. And I don't know, it'd be nice to kind of do this. It's just kind of a hobby, but to be able to do that and help people out. And I kind of we have some cattle here too, and like the cattle trailers, they need new floors in them, so I cut a lot of oak and keep oak, usually cut a lot of the oak to 1.5 inches thickness, and that way we can put it in the trailer for the bottoms of the trailers. And we've had to replace some of the feed bunks. Some of the wood on the sides of those have gone bad, so we've replaced some of those. I put some wood on a trailer, a little utility trailer. The walnut, I like to do woodworking, like I said, but it's kind of been, haven't had a lot of time to do it, but I've gotten quite a bit of woods saved up now, and it takes a long time to dry out the wood. I just air dry it. You can kiln dry it if you have a kiln, but it just takes longer to air dry it, and I don't really need it that fast, so I've been air drying it. I've found out that using the sawmill, and there's a lot of different companies out there. If you do internet searches, you can find a lot, but I found it's really easy to use. It's nice to have a tractor, maybe with a front end loader. We have access to a skid loader that I use to move some of the logs around. But, you know, we all have a lot of trees that are down from windstorms, and some of the wood I've gotten from people in town that trees have gone down. And I would just, I guess, encourage anybody that's needing wood, would like to have wood, that they could, you know, get a sawmill and cut their own wood and use it, and instead of throwing it away or burning it up or cutting it all up for firewood, it'd be nice to, you know, utilize it. And there's a lot of things we can use the wood for around the farm to fix up things. You know, you can make cattle panels, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, it's really easy to use, and I've enjoyed doing it and would encourage anybody else to use it.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
We'll have lots more for you tomorrow on Ag AM in Kansas. We're here every weekday, same time, same station. Or look for us on the web at agaminckansas.com. Eric Atkinson here.